What's up, everyone? Sorry I'm late. Just got back from Santa Clara. Long drive back to Oakland. It's very hot today, but I remembered the sunscreen. Thank goodness. I packed myself a sandwich. I really felt like a grown-up today, like a big boy. Also, shout out everyone in the YouTube chat of the 49ers press conference. I like hanging out with you guys in there while I'm asking my questions. It was a lot of fun. You guys give me good ideas. It was your idea for me to ask Jimmy about his knee brace, which a question he hated. So that was cool. I like doing that. That's fun. All right. So I'm going to be on here for about a half hour. I got about 5 things to talk about. You can interrupt me whenever you want. Then I'm going to catch my breath, put up a couple videos, change, go on Twitch for about a half hour. Then I'm going to catch my breath, change, put up a couple videos, and then go on with Jason DePonte on YouTube. So big night. I'll be around, but you're going to have to like jump around to follow me. Sorry, I'm obnoxious. Okay, so let's start off with today's OTA, what I saw. You may have heard from other beat writers. I don't know how they want to spin what happened today, but I have definite opinions. So let's start with the kid, Trey Lance. He's exactly as advertised in the sense that he doesn't make bad decisions. He doesn't put the ball in jeopardy. He protects it. He's huge. He's a cannon. His physical gifts are apparent. And he's inaccurate down the field. That was the book on him. The difference between him and Justin Fields, Trey Lance supposedly has higher football IQ, better decision-making, more mature. Justin Fields is more accurate. And the question was, what's more coachable, accuracy or decision-making? I think we all felt accuracy. I don't think there's much you can do with decision-making. But accuracy is tough too. Guy's been throwing his whole life. Now you're going to teach him a new way to do it when he's 21. Maybe. I mean, people have done it. So just because he's a little errant in late May doesn't mean he won't be a complete freaking baller this year or next year. But this is what I'm seeing from Trey Lance. When he throws the ball down the field, like more than 10 yards down the field, wow, what a cannon. Really throws it hard. Sometimes he makes some beautiful throws, like some jaw droppers where just the small window and the velocity and the daringness, like Jimmy couldn't do it. But when he misses, which every quarterback does, he was 10 for 15. Jimmy was 11 for 15. I'm not trying to be alarming here. I'm just saying when Trey Lance misses, I've seen him in action twice now. He misses high when he's throwing more than 10 yards down the field. And that's problematic because that's a guy who committed 1 turnover in college. You're going to throw a lot of picks in the NFL missing high. There's a lot of in-breaking routes in the Niners offense, slants, digs, over routes. There's a lot of passes between the numbers. If you miss those high, safety intercepts him. So he's not, if he is a turnover machine as a rookie, it won't be because of his decision-making. It will be because of his inaccuracy. So that's something to watch. I mean, he threw 15 passes today, sailed 2 of them. Both were in 7-on-7s. So maybe he's way better in a real 11-on-11 live hitting, live bullets type of setting where he can run around and be an athlete. But in 7-on-7s where it's just basically pocket passing, Jimmy's better than him right now. To be expected. Jimmy's almost 29 years old. This guy's 21. He apparently is learning all new techniques and everything, shot guy, everything. So he's learning. But when they say he may not be ready, I see that. I mean, just from a accuracy point of view, you can't put this guy on the field if he's sailing passes like this. Now, when he doesn't do it a lot because, frankly, he checks down a lot. He checks down a lot. 15, 2 of 3. There were 2 sessions of 7-on-7 and 1 session of 11-on-11. I have my play-by-play notes. I hate when, but this is what happens every year. People are like, Grant, so beat writer said he had it differently. Hey, man, what do you want to know? I have every single play written down, what happened. 7-on-7 followed by 11-on-11 and a 7-on-7 to finish it up. That was it. It was a quick little practice. They said they're not really in football shape yet. They're trying to build up slowly. Fair enough. I think that's smart. But so what you're going to need to watch with Trey Lance is when he misses, how often is he missing high? When he misses high, why is he missing high? I feel like this was an issue with Michael Vick when he came in the league 20 years ago. Do you guys remember this? And Steve Young went to go work out with him, and it was like, Steve said it was an issue of the stride. If you overstride, you miss high. If you understride, you miss low. I don't know. I didn't play quarterback, but I played baseball. And I remember that if you overstride, you kind of muscle up, you're trying to get a lot of your leg into it. A lot of times you can leave your arm behind you, behind your body. And your release point ends up being behind you. And you end up missing high and in. You know, that's how you hit a guy in the head as a pitcher. So if that could be something he should think about. Maybe not, you know, you have a ton of velocity on your throws. You don't need to get so much leg action into it. Maybe you just need a little hip turn and arm because you have cannon. You have such a strong arm. I'm just trying. Kyle made fun of me today in the press conference. He's like, you know, there's not one magic thing, but you're going to write that there is. Like, okay. I have no idea what Trey Lance's problem is. And frankly, it's not my problem. It's Kyle's problem. Kyle, figure it out. Figure it out, Kyle. It's a mechanical issue. You play wide receiver. You have no idea how to fix mechanics with a quarterback. Other coaches do. Do you? Figure it out, man. You drafted him. You can't say you wanted Mac Jones. You didn't get Mac Jones. Because Mac Jones would look good in these 7-on-7 settings. Trey Lance is going to look much better in real football where he can run around. So Kyle, it's the thing that everyone knew Trey Lance was going to have to work on, accuracy down the field. Not like deep accuracy, but like 15 yards on a line. He's missing high and in, high and away. They're sailing on him. So I was interested to see what Kyle does about that. Brian, granted, it seemed obvious Kyle doesn't like you. No, it's clear. I mean, why would he like me? I wouldn't like me if I were him. The thing is, I'm a very likable person. So maybe one day. But no, it's clear Kyle doesn't like me. No. Although he doesn't I don't think he hates me. But I just think it's like a little bit of I take jabs in print and on screen. So he takes jabs in the press conference. But it's all in good nature. It's not like I'm not saying he likes me, but I don't think he hates me. I just like, hey, Grant, I read that thing that you freaking said about me. Boom. Hey, fair enough, Kyle. I think it's basically like that. I would hope. I don't think it's like he's sitting at home like, hate that corner. No, I don't think it's like that. He's very wealthy. I don't think he would trip like that. I don't know. Maybe he does. He could still be adjusting the speed NFL receivers have. Thoughts on if his pros outweigh the cons currently. That's true. I want to give a ton of context for Trey Lance. It's just one day. I've seen the missing high thing a couple of times. But he had to play. I didn't say this. He had to play 100% with the backups. 0 reps with the starters. So he's throwing to, Austin Watkins. It's not like he was playing with Kittle, Dwelly, Ayuk, Debo, Mostert. No, he wasn't. He was playing with the backups. And he still was 10 of 15. The thing is, it wasn't the backups' fault that Trey Lance sailed those passes. It's one issue. He can fix it. If he does, he'll be phenomenal. And I think he can. I think we've seen quarterbacks fix accuracy issues. But I'm just wondering, is he ready to play week 1? Is he going to be out there? I don't know about that. He's going to have to work on this offseason. If he keeps sailing these passes, he's going to need to sit on the bench for a while unless he wants to have an abysmal rookie year. Gee, it's like you called him the robot guy from Grandma's Boy. Yeah, why would I expect him to like me after I called him the robot guy from Grandma's Boy? Although I got to say that when he was at his opening press conference, Kyle Shanahan, and he was sitting there, it was my first time sitting. I was thinking, oh my God, it's JP from Grandma's Boy, like instantly. And I'll say, I can't say that, but 5 years later, I feel like it's so. That was my first impression of him, JP from Grandma's Boy. I'm sorry. So Kyle, if you don't like me, fair. That's fair. That's okay. All right. Let's move on. That's my impression of Trey Lance. It's not like breaking news that he has accuracy issues. Now we see it. This is it. When he throws more than 10 yards down the field and muscles up, sometimes it gets away from him. He'll have to work on that. But that's okay. He's 21. Was he slightly picking up his back leg today? Yes, I saw that. When he overstrides and misses high, he is, overstriding and picking up his back leg. It seems like he doesn't need to do all that. You're doing too much, Trey. You're doing too much. Let's move on. Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo's in a really good mood today. Jimmy was smiling. He's answering questions. I asked him, everyone was asking him about Trey Lance. And he was very big-hearted. He had a lot of great things to say. He's very big of him. You know why? Because he played better than Trey Lance today. Trey Lance made Jimmy Garoppolo look good. Nothing against Trey Lance. He's 21. Jimmy's supposed to be better than Trey Lance. But I'm sure Jimmy's sitting on the field being like, oh, you're missing these throws high? I won't. I can make that throw. Like all the running around and ad-libbing stuff, you're just not going to be able to show that in practice. The stuff that we're doing here, geez, I'm going to look better than you. Like two things, the accuracy, although 10 of 15, 11 of 15, it's just that when Lance missed, it was like big misses, okay? So that. But the other thing is decisiveness. With Jimmy, we always say he's a bad decision maker, doesn't know where to go with the ball, indecisive, holds it too long. Not compared to Trey Lance right now. Compared to Trey Lance right now, Jimmy Garoppolo is Drew Brees. In these practices, he's the most decisive I've ever seen him. Now he's going against his defense, but gets the balls out. Gets the balls out. Trey Lance gets the ball. Ooh, I don't know if you're open. I'm going to go over here. I should have pulled the trigger. Maybe didn't pull the trigger. I'm checking down. Trey Lance holds the ball a very long time. He's extremely indecisive now. That's not a bad thing. He's been exposed to this playbook for like a month. So these are the reasons people were like, well, I'm not sure Trey Lance is ready to take this job or even compete. He's not ready to compete. In fact, it's not a competition right now. Jimmy got all the first team reps and committed no turnovers, no turnover worthy plays. Lance got all the second team reps, had 2 turnover worthy passes. 1 got picked. 1 got dropped by a DB. So, Jimmy isn't like gonna wow anyone, but he's gonna, if he plays like this, then I'm not sure that Trey Lance is gonna take this job from him by week 1. It might have to be like an injury thing. I don't know that Trey Lance is gonna outplay Jimmy in practices. Remember, I went through this with Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick. Kaepernick never outplayed Alex Smith in practices. It just wasn't the setting for Colin Kaepernick to show his superiority where he had it, which was athleticism. That's the kind of stuff that comes out in real games. And that's what's going to come out for Trey Lance. So anyway, Jimmy Garoppolo, real good day for him. He's happy, smiling. I asked him about, everyone was asking him about Trey Lance, and he could say nice things. I asked him about his injuries. Because, like, you know what? I don't want to set you up to look good. I don't want to give you opportunities to, be PR for yourself. How is your ankle and how is your knee? And he's like, oh, geez. Like, sorry, Jimmy. He said the ankle's fine, doesn't think about it anymore. The knee, though. I was like, what's up with that knee brace? You didn't wear it today. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go back and forth with that. That knee is always going to be an issue with him. And I think when you get in a real game with Jimmy and a D lineman touches that knee, gets close to that knee, he becomes a different player. So is he going to outplay Trey Lance in these practices and OTAs? Yeah. Is he going to outplay Trey Lance in training camp? I don't know. But in OTAs, probably. In games, well, we'll see. Because we know Jimmy. In games, there's good Jimmy and there's bad Jimmy. And the more people touch that knee, the more it's bad Jimmy. So don't get too excited that Jimmy outplayed that round 1 of the quarterback competition, which isn't even a competition yet, because Trey Lance doesn't get any reps with the starters, went to Jimmy. Don't get mad. Mateo says, Grant, do you think Lance holding the ball high has an effect on why he misses high since his release point is higher? I feel maybe. I don't know. We're going to have to see him in action, film it, and slow it down. And they're really keeping the quarterbacks far away from us. I don't think they want Trey Lance to be analyzed right now. So we'll have to see about that. We'll have to see what Steve Young has to say. We're going to get all the greats. Jeff Garcia is going to have a comment, and Steve Young, Joe Montana. That's the best thing that's what's so hard about being a quarterback for the 49ers. Trey Lance, you just got drafted by the Niners. Very exciting, all right? Now you're 21, and you're struggling at first. Now, Joe Montana has an opinion. Steve Young has a comment. Jeff Garcia has a comment. Jerry Rice has a comment. Ooh, ask Alex Smith about that kind of pressure. How did Jimmy seem interacting with Kyle and the coaching staff? I didn't see him interacting with Kyle and the coaching staff much. I saw him doing his thing. Hard to say. I'll watch a little closer with that, but that's fair to wonder. How is he taking this? I mean, they're pushing him out the door. Look at how salty Aaron Rodgers is in Green Bay, right? Like, he'll never going to forgive him because they wanted to move on from him in his late 30s the way they did with Brett Favre. Off topic, but I need a Jimmy G impression. I'm not going to do that today, man. I'm not. Because honestly, you know who looked like this? Okay, I'll do it, but it wasn't Jimmy G. This one? Honestly, that was Trey Lance today, man. Trey, you got to, pull the trigger, baby. That's you today, man. He's making Jimmy look good, man. That was not, Jimmy did none of that today. Balls out. Hit his back foot, balls out. Made a decision. Trey out here looking like, ooh, maybe, He's like that meme of the lady tasting the drink, deciding whether she likes it or not. That's Trey right now. But I guess that's a fair, why should we expect anything more, right? He's a kid learning a new thing. That's Trey right now, but it won't be forever. I'm just saying. Hey, because Jimmy's a good sport, man. I make fun of Jimmy so much. I ridicule him because he's the quarterback of the team I cover, and he's kind of an easy target sometimes. If I were him, I would hate me. And I would have every reason to, like, hey, don't talk to me. We're not cool. And I asked Jimmy today the questions about his injuries, and he's so nice and above it all. He's like, hey, and he's so, I mean, how can you not like Jimmy Garoppolo? Like, he's the kind of guy where he knows what I say. You could walk up to him in the locker room and he'd be like, what's up, Grant? How you doing? He's just above it. I appreciate that about him because I've covered a lot of players who aren't, man. A lot of players who were not above that kind of stuff and petty and hated you. Number 7. God, that guy hated the press. Anything they said. So, Jimmy, I always appreciate that about you, but still, man, I'm not going to go easy on you. Anyway, also, George Kittle acknowledged that he knows that I think Ross Dwelley's better than him. I'm sorry, Ross Dwelley's really good. I think George Kittle's the second best tight end in the league. Just Ross is good, and he's looking a little bit yoked. All right, moving on. Jeff Wilson, I didn't know this. Jeff Wilson Jr. tore his meniscus and is out 4 to 6 months. Jeff Wilson Jr., the running back who led the 49ers in touchdowns last year with 10. Now, maybe this happened yesterday. Maybe this happened a month ago. I don't know. They don't really have to tell us. I don't know how many national reporters are calling up Jeff Wilson Jr.'s agent trying to get the scoop. Maybe this happened a month ago. It makes me wonder. Is this why the Niners drafted 2 running backs? Because when they drafted the second one, I was like, you still have Jeff Wilson Jr., right? He's really good, but he's hurt, and he's going to miss the beginning of the season. So now it's like, thank goodness the Niners drafted 2 running backs. Now it's like, instead of, because the way I saw it was, I don't care how many running backs you draft. The starter is Mostert, and the backup is Jeff Wilson Jr. Those are the 2 best running backs on your roster. So I like Trey Sermon. He's number 3. Elijah Mitchell seems interesting. He's number 4. Wayne Gallman, 5. Like, that's a lot. But you know what? Now Jeff Wilson Jr. is gone. Now it makes a ton of sense why they would have someone like Trey Sermon, because Trey Sermon is a lot like Jeff Wilson Jr. Their skill sets are quite similar. Good thing they got that guy. I'm thinking now that Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to miss the beginning of the season, the starter will be Mostert. The backup will be Sermon or Mitchell. They'll have to fight it out. I've liked what I've seen from Sermon so far. He had a long run today, but there's no tackling. It's really hard to judge running backs in practice. If you see them consistently ripping off long runs, it's good to know. If they're fast, that's good to note. But really, you need to see them running the ball against people who can tackle. What you can see is their route running, how they receive, but that's in one-on-one drills, and that's didn't happen today. So we'll see about Elijah Mitchell. All of a sudden, it's a good thing the Niners drafted 2 running backs because both of them could play this year. Jeff Wilson Jr., who knows? He had opportunity to play last year, did well with it. Now he's given others opportunity to take his spot. Depending on how they do, we may not see him again for a while. Probably start the season on IR, designation return, or whatever it is. PUP. I forget. Anyway, Jeff, you open the door for people to take your job. Good questions for Jimmy G. Thanks, man. Appreciate you, Johnny. All right, so that's the deal with Jeff Wilson Jr. Too bad. I really like that guy. All right, now I'm going to talk about a couple other things. These are non-practice related. The Niners had preliminary talks with Dede Westbrook. Dede Westbrook is a slot receiver, went to Oklahoma, played for the Jaguars, tore his ACL, still isn't 100% recovered. Also kind of a deep threat. That's the way I remember him at Oklahoma. It's so clear that the Niners are looking for a third receiver, not a number 3 receiver, but a third receiver, and could be Dede Westbrook. Now, they didn't sign him yet. So to me, preliminary talks means like he's a backup plan. Hey, how's that recovery going? Well, if we don't find anyone special, maybe we don't get any Hall of Famer wide receiver this offseason, we'll hit you up around August, kind of like how teams call up agents and be like, hey, if your client's there in the 5th round, we're going to take him. But he said you called up 8,000 agents and told the same thing to all of them, man. That's an empty promise. Anyway, Dede Westbrook, a nice plan B, but it underscores how the Niners are not done at the wide receiver position. Jalen Hurd wasn't even, I guess he was there. I don't know. I guess he was there. I didn't see him. Someone saw him. Jalen Hurd. Honestly, the number 3 receiver, the third best receiver on the team today, from what I saw, Juwan Jennings. He looked faster and in better shape than last year. Great. Also, Travis Benjamin looked decent. Those are your guys? Juwan Jennings and Travis Benjamin? No wonder. I mean, Austin Watkins looks really bad. I don't know. Man, that guy looks terrible. He can't get open. So, yeah, Dede Westbrook could definitely happen. Although I'm going to say that I don't think that's I'm going to take it back. I think Dede Westbrook's going to be on the Niners. I do. I think that's not their first choice, but I don't know if they're going to go hard enough after their first choice. They may end up settling for Dede Westbrook down the line. So I do think the Niners are going to get this guy. Keep an eye out for Dede. Watch his highlights. Chase, what's up, Chase? Jimmy seemed oddly happy today. It's true. I saw that too. He was real happy. Is it possible this is a front in case he still gets traded? Also, he seemed to fidget less while talking to the press. He just had a really good day of practice. He just played better than Trey Lance in front of the entire local media, and he knows it. It's obvious. Trey Lance threw not one. He threw 1 pick. Should have thrown 2. Jimmy threw none. Jimmy's in a good mood. I'd be in a great mood if I were Jimmy. Good for Jimmy, man. Jimmy's the most interesting player in the 49ers right now. I'm not pulling for him, but I don't know. Can you relate to a 29-year-old who's been given up on? Can you relate to that? I can. 29. You're no good. We don't want you. Got no future. Can you not relate to that? I can. All of a sudden, Jimmy's the most relatable player on the team. I'm not pulling for him. I'm just curious to see what he does. Because I know what I did when I was his age. I know how I responded when it was looking bleak for me. I'm curious to see what Jimmy does. Maybe Jimmy's curious to see what Jimmy does. A lot of times you don't know what you're made of until you're put in a position like this in your late 20s or early 30s. I don't know. Very interesting. Good for Jimmy. Good day, Jimmy. All right, let's move on. Last thing. Julio. I've been thinking about this, man. The Julio Jones thing. I think the Niners are going to make an offer for Julio Jones. I think they're going to make a trade offer for Julio Jones after June 1. I think it's pretty clear that the Niners want to move Deebo Samuel to the slot full-time. I mean, he's not a starting wide receiver. You can play him as a starting wide receiver, but he gets injured. I think you want to reduce his playing time and have him be a number 3 and a gadget guy. If he was your slot receiver, plus, the slot receiver who can do all this other stuff that he does, perfect. But if he's your starting wide receiver, he misses too much time. I think they want to move him to that number 3 guy. So is there an opening for him? Yes, for Julio. And then it's like, is he too expensive? Vish came on my channel yesterday and said, yeah, I was talking to guys down at the facility today. I mean, they disagree. He wouldn't be expensive this year. He wouldn't be terribly expensive next year for the 49ers. He would be expensive in 2023, but everyone's expecting the cap to go way up in 2023. So I don't think financially it's a problem. I don't think it's a problem in terms of depth. I mean, Debo, you're the number 3 receiver, man. Sorry. Ayuk and Julio on the outside with Debo inside. Yeah, it's good. That's pretty good. So, okay, there's a fit for him. There's a fit in the cap for him. Is this the kind of move Kyle Shanahan would do? Hell yes. Absolutely, man. He has a personal relationship with Julio Jones. Those are the exact kind of players that Kyle Shanahan brings onto his team. Anyone that he has a personal relationship with is going to be on the 49ers at some time. So, yeah, I absolutely expect the 49ers to make an offer for Julio Jones in like a week. Now, what's the offer going to be? I think they'll offer the 2nd-round pick next year and a 4th. A 2nd and a 4th. And it sounds like, man, that's rich, man. The Niners don't have a 1st. They don't have a 3rd. They have a comp 3rd. But now you're going to trade a 2nd and a 4th. They'll have 1 3rd-round comp pick and then 5th, 6th. That's it. Yeah, it's Julio Jones, man. Yeah, it's Julio Jones. And you know what? There are ways to get those picks back. Now, I think it's probably clear that the Falcons would prefer to get picks and players. That's how teams are. Okay, so you trade the 2nd, the 4th for Julio. And then at the end of the season, you trade someone for picks. Trade someone for a 2nd round and a 4th. Who could that be? Probably Debo. I bet you could look at, yeah, probably Debo. You trade Debo at the end of the season for a 2nd and a 4th, get those picks back, or keep them. There's other people you could trade for a 2nd. I don't know who you guys want to suggest. You could trade Ayuk. I'd rather keep Ayuk. But yeah, you could trade someone for a 2nd, get that pick back, keep Julio Jones for 3 years. What's wrong with that? Honestly, if Trey Lance is going to be the quarterback and he's going to be firing these passes over the middle and they're going to sail a little on him, you might want a wide receiver like Julio Jones, who's 6'3", with long arms. Maybe you would have wanted Kyle Pitts, but couldn't have them both, though. Anyway, I do think the Niners will make this offer for Julio. Question is, will the Falcons accept it? A 2nd and a 4th? I can see other teams offering that too, right? If the Niners offer a 2nd and a 4th, and any AFC team that's competitive offers a 2nd and a 4th, Baltimore, Tennessee, New England, I'm thinking Atlanta's going to send them to the AFC. So I'm thinking it's going to be one of them situations where the Niners tried, like Stafford, Jamal Adams, and they get outbid. And they'll say, we would have loved him, man. Absolutely. We definitely tried, but we weren't comfortable trading a 1st-round pick, 2 1st-round picks. I don't know what this is going to go for. But again, if New England offers exactly what the Niners offer, he's going to New England because New England's in the AFC. So that's all I got to say on that subject. Thank you for watching. If you want to chat a little bit, I'm going to regroup and go on Twitch in about 15 minutes. Then I'm going to go on with Jason. So holla at me on Twitch. I'll be there in about 15. Real Grant Cohn. I'll be there. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching. And OTAs are next Wednesday, I believe. Tomorrow, it's going to be a big YouTube day. My dad in the morning, Jack Hammer in the afternoon, Twitch somewhere in there, 49ers Roundtable at 5, Jesse Naylor at 7. It's a big day. But OTAs happen. We got lots to talk about, man. Deuces. I'll see you guys in 15.